Good morning. Oh, it's a beautiful spring day, isn't it? It feels like winter. Jeanette says, "You're wearing a coat. What's wrong?" I said, "It's cold outside." That's why you wear coats, right? Interesting stuff, right? I watched a video yesterday with Mike Ferry. It wasn't with Mike Ferry. It was actually Mike DeHoyos, who's one of his #1 guys. And Mike went through the basics of real estate. And Angela, you just brought something to my mind that I'm going to comment on. This is a mindset business, right? And there's some amazing stuff happening in the marketplace that's really, really, really amazing that nobody talks about. And then you've got the media. For some reason, they've decided to slant everything that's going on, right? And the fact is we're becoming more of a normal market, and that's okay. But many of us have not seen a normal market ever. So Angela was just telling me, she says, I've got a listing and it's 485 and they offered 475. It was 495 and they offered 475. That's normal, right? We never get 100+% of asking price in a normal market, right? But for what we've seen for the last 3 or almost 4 years now, if it wasn't full price, you were a gnat in the garbage can. I mean, you had no shot of getting it. And if you didn't have an escalation clause and go above asking price, and they also asked to pick title and they wanted a home warranty. The nerve of those people. I'm sorry. I tell people this all the time. My biggest problem is I've got a memory, and the memory goes back to 1991 when I was a real estate broker at 23 years old. And that's how we did things. And a waterfront house on Apollo Beach was $107,000, the first one I sold. And I have that memory and I can't get rid of it. And now I'm seeing a new house come in for $1.2 million that's 30 years old with an original roof. And I'm like, I can't believe it. But we have to change with the times, right? So the times were, we get full price offers multiple all the time. And now the times are, we're going to get offers and we need to go negotiate them. And you said, gave them everything he wanted, came back at 480. And then they came back and asked for seller concessions on top. And they took 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God, the nerve of them. The nerve of them to want to buy my house that I have listed. I cannot believe you would try to buy my house and make me an offer of any kind.
And I'm going to show you some graphs that talk about the price appreciation we've seen. And I'm going to blow your mind. I'll give you a preview. 495% is what our houses have gone up since 1991. Pick a stock, pick anything. My dad's brain comes into my head. Real estate held long enough is always appreciates. 495%. So I think the house I built 1990 on Bunker View. Angelique and I, her dad gave us a lot, which was really cool. We used a lot as a down payment. We financed the house for 120 grand for a 2,200 square foot brand new custom built home. Can't do that anymore. I think we sold it for, so what, 120 plus a free lot. So say the lot was worth 40. So 160, we sold it for 280-ish, and then used that money to buy the Symphony lot and did that. But that house today is 700 grand. See, never sell a house, just own them forever. That's how it works. All right. So there's my break in. Good morning, everybody. Good day, all. Kathleen's got a bridge in her background and her glasses on. The future's so bright, she got to wear shades. Hi, Misty. Hey, why don't we get title going? Because I know you guys, if you guys are anything like us, we have 129 closings between now and the end of the month. So that means you guys are buried. So let's let Misty and Megan have the floor. I don't think I sent my my title capture, but I'll talk about that just off the cuff. So hello, ladies.
Yeah, we actually, good morning.
Good morning.
We actually have, I think there was almost 40 orders that we've gotten for the month of March, and give it a few more days, and that's going to be more than we've had probably in the last 4 to 5 months. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. entrusting us with your real estate needs. We appreciate you all very much. We want to get your deals closed. If you're not using us, reach out and see what we have to offer. We have all kinds of cool tools at your fingertips, and Megan can tell you more about that.
You do have some cool tools, Megan. What you got?
There's a lot of things. I apologize. I haven't had all of my coffee this morning, so I'm a bit tired.
There's the Fan Agent app.
Yep, there's the Fan Agent app, which is really cool. If you don't know how to use that, or if you've downloaded it and just really have no idea what you're using, stop in the office. I'll sit with you, call me and we can go over all the cool tools. The premium is really awesome too. All the flyers that you get as an agent to promote on your social media or send out to your clients. The way we do EMD for our payload system is really convenient, especially if you get an offer on the weekend. You can have your buyer, as soon as they put their offer in, they can go onto our website and payload, and it's immediate. They can put emails in there and you will immediately get a receipt. They will immediately get a receipt, and then we'll get the receipt. It's not a wire. It won't take a couple of hours. And most of the time wires cost $25 to $30 to get a wire transfer done from your bank. This system only charges a $9 convenience fee, and that is the website's fee. That does not come to Paramount Title. Our remote online notary sessions is a big one because a lot of title companies don't offer this. For all of our sellers, you can sign with an electronic notary. Some lenders have approved it. It's not very common that a lender approves an electronic notary, but for all of your sellers, this is an option. So if you have one of your sellers are married and one of them's here and the other one's in Michigan, we can sign that one as a remote online notary session. And it's super easy to use, and it's just really convenient. There's so many more things that we offer. We have Danny, he's our office attorney. So if there's anything that pops up on closing, or if you're just going through a listing and you have some attorney questions, we can get you in contact with him, and he's very responsive. He's really sweet. He's a really nice guy to work with.
Yep. He really is very, very easy to talk to. Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. You guys have a very busy week.
Plus
Yes.
all the classes and education that you guys provide. And what's the upcoming class that you have do we doing the third Thursday of every month?
Second Thursday of every
Second
month.
Thursday? Do
We
know
are
what-
looking at April to do estoppels. So I'm actually really excited for this. It's going to go over what homeowners associations are requiring the payments to be made upfront, because there are a few that now require that prepayment. It's going to go over the different fees you see on an estoppel, the capital contribution, the transfer fee, who pays what, the violations on condos, there's approval. So it's going to go over a lot. So that'll probably be our April one. And then May, we're looking at surveys, which is another really exciting one to go over.
It really can be. It sounds not exciting, but it can be actually
Yes.
exciting.
It can
thanks
be
for
pretty
all you do.
vague too, but it'll be nice. It'll be good.
I pulled a title capture report. I didn't pull it. Somebody else pulled it for me. But Paramount Title had 27 listing side closed. The next closest title company to us was Majesty Title with 4. So we're just smoking everybody. So if you're not using us, give us a shot, because we're pretty good at what we do. Thank you, ladies, for all you do.
Very welcome. Have a great day.
Okay. All right, let's do our agenda, because we got some cool things to talk about today. Quotes. It was so funny. Just yesterday, I grew up with Mike Ferry in the real estate business. All right. That was my first training session. It's just the first thing I did. I went through business management training with him and a woman named Diane Dobbins. And so I've got a lot of respect for what he has to say. And he's very much like my dad. Same message. It doesn't change. So yesterday was Mike Ferry TV. It came across my email, and I haven't seen Mike Ferry TV in a long time. And this was done by Mike DeHoyos. And Mike said, basically, this is a mindset game. If you're listening to the media and all the crap they're pumping in, you're going to have a miserable existence. But if you look at the real estate market and you do your job, there's plenty of transactions happening in the marketplace, and let's just take advantage of them while we can. But it starts about our presentation and doing it right and not missing the steps, the stuff that we talked about on the mastermind yesterday. It's just, we have systems to follow. When you follow them, it works, right? So it's just back to basic real estate, which is kind of fun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jeanette saying that when she was an agent in Puerto Rico, your broker was named Sobin? Ronald Sobin. She's told me about him for years. Yeah, that's how we started. Right? There was just brass tacks. That's what you talk about. So anyway, these quotes are, do the best you can. No one can do more than that. And we all try so hard, and there's so many new things we can do, but just do the best you can, right? We challenged everybody yesterday, which is coming up on the next slide, but to make, was it 35 contacts? 20.
20 a day.
20 contacts a day. That's not that hard when you're copying and pasting with your thumbs on a phone, right? How many people do their 20 a day? No. I did one and he called me back. That's no. You did, Jackie did, Carolina. Not yet. Laura. No. Say it in Spanish. No.
No.
Come on. 20 contacts a day online. I can't see you yet, but I will. Do the best you can. If that's the best you can, that's all you can do, right?
Online, we've got some replies. Yes, one replied back. I did send out 20 contacts and 7 people.
That's awesome,
responded, so
Vanessa.
awesome.
That's the goal, right? Because we're not trying to send out messages, trying to get connections.
Don't just do the best you can. Don't just do the best you can, because the best you can, you think maybe, like, anybody ever been to the gym and did
Do the exercise.
seven or eight repetitions? You're lifting weights, doing 7 or 8, and you feel like you're done, and you have a trainer or a friend going, do one more, and they go, and you do, and you get one more out. You thought your best was 7, but you pushed out 8, and then they tried to make you do another one. And if you had an accountability coach or a trainer, somebody there next to you said, let's do another one, and you do 2 more. And even if they had to help you a little bit on that second one, that's kind of the point is, hey, you can always do a little bit more.
We have these boards here, right? And Tony Robbins, they couldn't walk on fire for UPW.
Yeah.
So they did a board breaking exercise, and I picked up this board and I broke it because I've done that before. And it's a long story. And I was a kid. I'm 15 years old. I got my black belt in Taekwondo, and I had to jump over 3 people and break a board. And I did that. And then he said, add another person, add another board. And it went to 7 people and 7 boards that I had to jump over. I'm 15, I'm 130 pounds, right? 15 people, 7 boards. But that was your point. Don't just do the best you can.
Yep.
I was pushed to do more.
Yep.
Right. And so 7 boards is a lot. That's 2. 7's like this. And I'm 130 pounds flying through the air over 7 people.
Yep.
And my mom has that video and she can't find it. And it pisses me off, Mom.
There's a,
She says she gave it to me and I don't have it.
along these same lines, it's don't do your best, do what's required. So what was required of Craig was 3 people, and then they put 4 people on boards, and then he put 5 people on boards. He did his best at 3 and he did his best at 4, but what was required was always that 1 more, and he did that 1 more.
All right. I thought it was my mom. Oh, it is my mom. Yeah, I'm a little heavier than I was then. Okay, number 2, if you can dream it, you can do it. I talked to a friend yesterday who was in California, and they mentioned they were in Disneyland and how much nicer Disneyland was than Disney World. I've never considered that. I thought Disney World would be nicer because it's bigger and it's newer, but they said Disney World was really, or Disneyland was really cool. So if you can dream it, you can do it. He's like the quintessential guy for vision, right? Chris, what do number 3?
Don't let what you can't do interfere with what you can do, John Wooden.
Well, I can't call expired listings. Well, you can call for sale by owners.
And
Saw
whatever-
one on the way into work this morning, right on Flamingo Drive.
Whatever you focus on is what you're going to feel. If you focus
That's
on
it.
what you can't do, you're going to feel more of that, and you'll be less likely to do it. But if you focus on what you can do and surround yourself with people that are doing that, you have a better opportunity.
Hey, Julie, I think you'll like number 4. Is that the only person I can see?
I had my microphone off.
Mhm.
20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than the ones you did. Mark Twain.
Can anybody feel, does that resonate with anybody? Oh, I wish I had done that when I was in high school, right? And then number 5, it's okay to outgrow people who don't grow. You'll be taller than them and that's okay. Right? Yes, Jackie, you can keep growing and it'll be perfect. All right, so those are fun. All right, we did Paramount Title. What we're going to do now is Keeping Current Matters is another membership group we joined, like the Rise Network to teach online training, lead conversion. Keeping Current Matters is another company, and actually Jody shares it with me. And these are facts about the real estate market, not fiction and media stuff. So I'm going to throw the managers under the bus a little bit because I just picked out some slides and we're going to look at those. And this is graphic depiction of what's really happening in the market. And the reason I want you to have this, because you guys are the catalyst that's creating change in the real estate industry. And if we fill them with accurate information versus fear and falsehoods, it makes an easier decision, right? Not everybody's going to transact. They shouldn't. I was talking to the little group I walk with in the morning this morning, and there's nothing for sale in my neighborhood. It's everything that came on is gone. It comes on, it's gone. It's a highly sought after, very desirable, gone. And we keep talking about, but why would you move? Where are you going to go? And you're going to trade in your 3% fixed mortgage for a 7%. It doesn't make sense for a lot of people to move. But death, divorce, debt, kids move out, kids move in, people's lives change. And that's what we're dealing with as normal real estate. That's where we're going to go from 6 million home sales to 4 million home sales. But the big challenge we have in the market right now is point blank, we have no inventory. And the first couple of slides are going to show this a lot. So the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality, right? And reality is not what the media is talking about. The media talks about things to get your attention, to make you scared, so you watch more media because they sell advertising, and that's the whole mission behind the whole world. So our responsibility is to find reality, and you are all leaders in the real estate market, and you're talking to people, and you've got to give them reality. So that's what these slides are, is reality. So when we talk about interest rates, which is the big talk in the world, but I think we've all seen, we've overcome interest rates, right? It is what it is, right? If you want to go on an airline trip from here to there and the ticket is $700, you're paying $700. It might have been $400 last month, but it's $700 this month. And if you want to go on the plane, it's $700. So that's just the reality of the interest rate market. But this is kind of what they say. You've got good buyer demand in the 6 to 6.5% rate. What rates are we looking at now? So we're over 7 now? So
No, it just went up again. And
it went up. Why?
So this graph is from this year. This is a
This is March.
2023 graph starting in January 1st of this year till March 3rd of this year. As of March 3rd, the average interest rate of March 3rd was just over 7%.
Yeah. But we're going to put, this is about reality, right? It is what it is. If you want the flight from here to New York and it's $700, you're going to pay $700. So that's what the flight costs. If you're going to get a mortgage today, you're going to get it. But here, when we were in the 6 to 6.5 range, that was good buyer demand. This is strong buyer demand. This is limited. This is weak, right? So the higher the rates go, the weaker demand is. Why? Real people, real estate. Because less people can qualify, right? It's a debt to income ratio. If the rate goes up, your mortgage payment goes up. If your mortgage payment goes up, you can't afford as much house. And now I've seen you guys and talked to you. You guys are showing friggin' property in Lakeland and Brooksville and places just to put them into a house. Who would I talk to? Oh my God. I talked to an agent yesterday. Archer, Florida. I went to University of Florida. That's Gainesville. Archer is Gainesville. We had to find a house in Gainesville that they could afford because they were looking in St. Pete when they found our agent. And we ended up selling a house in Archer, Florida. And it was $235,000, a cute little house, but you can't find a $235,000 house in Tampa Bay anymore. It just doesn't exist. In Lakeland, you can.
But what happens during these times? So we see that this is limited and weak buyer demand, but just like you said, they get used to the 7% interest rate, and it may be limited or weak buyer demand at this point. But if that continues to go, they'll get used to it. They'll pay the $700 for the airfare to go wherever they need to go. And you start to see more sales after a little bit. It's just this initial impact.
One of the slides that's coming up is going to be rents. Holy shit. I mean, you can't rent anything for less than $1,700 a month now. And that's a whole different world too. So I want to throw some of these slides to the managers and just kind of hit them out. So let's scroll down one more. And the bigger challenge is inventory. Kathleen, why don't you talk about this one? Because this is pretty telling.
It is. When you're looking at the total picture from January 17 all the way up to January 2023, you're going to see how the listings fluctuate accordingly. And this shows us that we need more listings. We're at 47.4% lower than what it was. What does that mean? We go out and talk to expires. We talk to condo owners that are interested in either getting those rentals sold or getting them into more rentals, whatever it might be in the way of investment properties, reaching out to investors, going on to Remind, looking for those absentee owners, and we can get more listings.
Yeah, so supply and demand, that's all it is, right? That drives prices, it drives everything in the world.
Yep.
If you've got 44 seats on your airplane and you got 60 people that want to go, what can you do?
Wait list.
Charge more. And that's what's happening because we had just no inventory. And to take my brother's thing, absentee owners are probably your best opportunity to get to know, because what can they do? Sell their house and cash out. And what can they do with that?
Reinvest.
Reinvest using
Moolah.
1031.
1031.
Sure.
And they can take that cash gain and reinvest all that into something else, which we're going to spark your minds with in the next week or two with our Madeira Beach project. What a cool opportunity. I talked to a guy, just randomly talked to a guy, and he goes, you know, to rent, this is his words, to rent a place is $3,000 to $4,000 a week. If my family comes in, we want to go to the beach. And that's not a nice house on the beach. That's just a standard rental on the beach. But you could buy a condo, rent it out 9 months of the year and use it 90 days, which none of us could take 90 days off and actually use it for 90 days. And it would pay for itself in the meantime. That's a huge opportunity. We want to give you guys a talking point. So Jeff is trying to plan a day. And Jeff, we ran into some conflicts with Julie yesterday, so we're gonna get that date worked out. But we're gonna do a live in-person tour and show you what's going on because it's super, super exciting. And we want you guys to expose this to your networks so you can get the commissions from the sales and we don't have to open it up to the MLS because we want it to be a Beggins only project. So that'll be kind of cool. And Angie, you're making me think. I want you to pay attention. I'm gonna say this 2 or 3 times today. Velocity of Money is a really cool guy. His name's Frank. And Frank's gonna do a class here live in this room, but we're gonna zoom it out so everybody can see. And he's got a class where he teaches you to teach your consumers that they can become real estate millionaires by owning 3 investment properties. And as a loan officer, his job is to find the financing for them. So he wins, we win because we get commissions, and they win because they become real estate millionaires in, you know, a short period of time. So that's a super cool class I'm really looking forward to. And that becomes your retirement income too, which is all about passive income as we get older, as that's what we do.
Do we
Right.
have that date for that class
It's that day is Wednesday. I'm sorry, it's this Wednesday at 1 o'clock
tomorrow?
tomorrow. Yeah, is it today, Tuesday already?
Mhm.
Yeah, so tomorrow, 1 o'clock, be here, be square, or be on Zoom. And we'll be good. Okay, so listing counts, that's just a picture. That's the truth. This is where we're at. So anything we are doing as real estate people, we need to be focusing on adding more inventory. In 2018, we had over 800 listings. Now we have 217. That's 25%, which is about in line with what the market's doing, a little bit less because
Well, Also, look at the cycles.
Mhm.
The cycle, March is a little lower than April, May, June, July, August, September. It keeps going up. So our listing count continues to go up. So that means more people are putting homes on the market and more buyers are buying those homes. And if you look here, it's going up, but not quite as much because they're putting them on the market, but they're selling really quickly as well. So we are due right here. This was January, February, March, but you see every March, it continues to go up to about August, September. If you are not out there getting those listings, somebody else is. You need
Yep.
to put yourself out. in
They're
front of
coming
those
on the market
people.
now because they want to be on the market and sold by the time they got to move for their schools. And that's just human beings. And we got a lot of people, to Jeanette's point, they say, it's just too crowded here. I want to get out in the country. I want to go to South Carolina, Spring Hill, Dade City, all those places, which are cool. Joe, you want to talk about this one?
Sure thing. While the number of homes for sale is increasing, it's still 47.4% lower than it was before the pandemic in 2017 to 19. Which is really, it's really hard to believe it could be lower, but it is, and it's getting lower. Good news is, though, interest rates did go down below 6% this week. So that's a positive.
Wow. So look at that. 1.1 million homes for sale. We're going to see some graphs on new
Yeah.
home construction in a minute, but down to 577,000.
So half the amount.
Right. And there's a little phantom inventory going on because a lot of the national home builders have sandbagged, if you will. They've got their inventory, but they're not putting on the market till it's stage 3 or stage 4.
Mhm.
So the customer choose, and now they're just going through and picking the colors and the cabinets and the flooring and the carpentry because they don't have time to wait for the consumer. And it's just,
Right.
it's a different world.
Right.
Next one.
Okay.
This one's kind of cool, and I want to ask a question. Let's talk about Puma on this one. Change in inventory. What's going on with Florida?
We're the desired place to be. Gotta
Yes.
love it.
Nationally, 6.1% is what we're down on inventory, but Florida's down 1.5. And there's one critical thing that's happening in Florida that's not happening elsewhere. Mike, do you know what it is?
No.
New home construction.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
All the new home builders are in Florida and they're cranking out inventory for us. Right, so that's why our inventory numbers are not down as much as everybody else. But as a country, that's what we're dealing with. It's the whole world is on fire. And if you went to 121, or if you're going to Top Agent, which is coming up in a minute, you're going to see people from other states going, wow. And when you talk to them, I had lunch with a couple, not lunch, just cocktails. It was breakfast, sorry. From Hawaii, average sales price, $1 million. And you don't get much for $1 million, right? Just a different world, and see what's
Well,
out there.
They can't rent them anymore either. A lot of the people who were buying in Hawaii were buying them as investment properties, and they're having major issues there with the lobbyists not being able to rent. So we're still very lucky because in a lot of our markets, and with what Jeff is doing, short-term rentals are still a huge investment opportunity for a lot of people in Hawaii. Think about this. Imagine spending $1 million on a vacation property, thinking you were going to VRBO it, only to find out now you can't because it's a 30-day minimum everywhere. And now you can't do it. Right. So that's happening all across Hawaii, which is a nightmare. So we're very
Massive
blessed.
fine, a massive fine.
Oh, what was the
too.
fine? It was like $10,000. If you
Yeah,
get
it's
caught.
like $10,000 or $15,000 if you're
They
caught.
catch you. And you
per
notice
offense.
Hawaii's the only place that has an increase of month-over-month inventory.
Government matters.
Because you have to get a certificate. You have to apply for, get a certificate, pay a good amount of money to get it to be able to do those VRBOs, short-term rentals, and then they're cracking down even more and they're not really allowing any new ones in. So once they meet that quota for the amount of certificates or whatever they use to allow them, now you can't do anymore. So anybody that bought a home that may have moved and is trying to do that is not going to be able to do that. So increase in inventory because they don't have any more. It's not like they have more land to build on.
Nope. No, Hawaii is kind of contained.
Mhm.
And if it's not, if the government shuts it down, then you're in trouble. Next slide is, Jeff, why don't you take a look at this one? You'll have fun with that.
Single family housing units completed. That's the interesting thing. 14 straight years below the 52-year average, which means we just simply don't have enough homes to meet the demand, right? Especially in Florida on the thing. So that's the biggest issue that we have is what's the net gain? 1,046 a day right now. People
Yep.
moving to the States, and 25% of them are moving to the Tampa Bay area. And so that's the problem that we're having right now is that's why I'd like to have a nice new home, but there aren't any. So let me go buy one of these old beater homes and there's not many of those. So everyone's fighting to get them through them. So it's
14 years below the 52-year average. And what caused that? Let's just call it what it is. Supply chain disruption. I'm still waiting for a new Escalade. I've been waiting for 1.5 years. I can't get one. Every once in a while, they call me with something that might be available, but it's not what I want. And I put my specific order in 1.5 years and I can't get a car. Right. I was in the shower this morning, listening to the radio, and the Hyundai's got a new EV car. And they said extreme limited opportunities because they can't get chips, and the chips are coming from China, and China's fucking with Russia, and Russia's screwing with Ukraine, and all these things are blocking everything we're dealing with. And it's all trickled down and it has created a unique economy.
Well, and before that, even from 2008 is when that started, because it was supply chain demand, but it was also money. You had a lot of fear. Everything goes down. Banks aren't lending money. Most of these builders aren't using their own cash
No.
to develop these homes and then to develop the neighborhoods and then build the homes. They're getting loans. And during that time of fear from 2008 to 2010, it kept
Good luck
going
getting a
down.
loan.
I'm not getting a loan. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with real estate. We're not going to put these homes on the market. So that just kept going down. And then it's been a fight to try to catch back up. And then you run into all the supply chain issues on top of everything else.
And then the guys like Lennar and D.R. Horton went into the guys like West Bay and bought their inventory for pennies on the dollar because the world was coming to an end. So Lennar's land banking tons and tons of lots. But then they can't get the developers to go put the infrastructure in to make the roads and the water and the sewer and the TV connections to make it all work. And it just takes time.
And you have Blackstone now buying entire communities as rental complexes.
There's a whole subdivision here behind Winn-Dixie. It's a 38 single family homes for rent. So one company came in and bought all 38 homes and they're going to rent them as they're actually townhouses, but they're calling them single family homes. Crazy. And that's the new thing. It's like they're trying to create America into a rental nation versus a home ownership nation. This one got me excited. Chris, why don't you take a run at this one?
How much of price has fallen from the peak, the drop in home value since the June peak through December 2022? So everything that you hear is home prices crashing. Everything, the real estate market is folding. Buyers are not active. Sellers are more hesitant. Well, the average of these is only about 1.5% to 2% dip is what each individual case study is showing, that the home prices have only fallen between 1% and 3% from the peak
in the market.
So if home prices have only fallen 1% to 3%, your $500,000 home is now worth what? $485 to $495 instead of $500. Is that a crash? No, by no means is that anything close to what a crash would be considered. And then when you're in an area like ours that had such great appreciation over 3.5 years, 70 to 80% appreciation, when you start adding all of the last 3 and 4 years together, and you get 70% appreciation, and you only lose even at most 3%. And our area has fared much better than the rest of the country has. And these are average numbers. So our area has been faring much better than that.
Yeah. I got a little Robinhood account I play with stocks, and that's down 15, 20, maybe. Yeah, almost 40%.
But here's, Craig, let me throw something in about this one, because this is a big problem. Because
it's talking about the market.
It's talking about the market. There is no market, guys. I want you to, every time you hear somebody say the market's dropping and this is down, no, right? There is we've got properties are still appreciating, right? There's still multiple offers and escalation clauses and people paying over appraised value and how much. And there's some certain markets where there's too much inventory and they are starting to drop a little bit, right? But we've got to take it as a micro market to micro market perspective. Because a general public who buys this says, well, I'm not paying full price. Prices are down 3%, right? And then they're going to come in there with their guard up and saying, I'm not paying full price. Prices are down. So we got to be very careful to control the narrative on this one. And we have to do our research. If we're showing 3 pool homes in Kissimmee, right? We have to understand the 4-3 pool home in Kissimmee market to understand what's the supply and demand. Is there one house for sale? Or are there 12 houses for sale? That determines the market. So we got to do a lot more work than we had to before, but don't just fall in, no narrative, no falling into narratives, guys. We have to control it and understand what we're dealing with. I just want to bring that distinction out.
Yeah, you put a 4-3 pool home on the water in my neighborhood, it's gone before it hits the market. Just done. It's just how it's going to work.
Yeah, these are averages. So to end up with an average like that, the 1% to 3% average, there's some areas they're dropping more. There's some areas that are still appreciating at much greater paces. So this says there's an average drop, but in order for that to happen, there's areas that have continued to appreciate, which we have a lot of them around us. That's why I said we have fared so much better than the national averages.
We're blessed.
Very blessed.
I've said that on our sales meeting agenda for a couple of years now. Wait till you see the next couple of graphs coming up. Should I buy a home right now? Yes or no? Okay. Ashley. What's happening to rents?
They're going up just like everything else.
Mhm.
And you don't have the control over it whatsoever. So if you are not in a lease, originally people were thinking that was a positive for them, so they could, years ago, so that they could potentially go purchase something when they felt like it. However, now you can, it's like, I believe a 30-day notice and they could hike your rent. I don't believe that there's any sort of cap on it right now. People are getting frustrated with the fact that, that there's no sort of law right now with Florida about that. But I mean, these are individual owners that bought an investment, or if they decided to sell, now you have to move. So yes, median rent is going up, especially since 1988.
It's insane. You can actually own a home, and it's all a rent versus buy analysis, right? So if they're saying, should I rent or should I buy? Well, let's look. A rental is going to be a 1-bedroom apartment across the street is $1,700 a month. That's a $300,000 home. Right.
And you don't have that fixed rate, or you don't have that fixed rate as far as a 30-year situation. It's definitely putting yourself in a situation where you might have to move if again, the owner decides to raise the rent to where you cannot afford it anymore. And it's not even necessarily the owner being greedy either. It could be, just like we talk about all the time, flood insurance. Maybe they weren't on a fixed rate mortgage. Maybe they just, had better use of the money and sold it to somebody else. So that's where we're at.
And you got to keep in mind the fact that families with children that live in homes that are owned are more stable than families who live in rental homes. It's just, that's one of the benefits. A whole bunch of things on that.
What if you have to move? What if you're moving and all of a sudden you can't get into that same school zone? So we're not just talking about, there's just a lot of factors to it. So always buy if you can.
Yeah, but look at that. There's a post for you right there. Think about buying versus renting. This is what's happened to rents. Now, mortgage payments has gone up too, but what do you get with a mortgage payment? You get the interest tax deduction, you get the property tax deduction, you get the appreciation, you get the homestead lock, you get all those other benefits that you don't get when you own a home, right?
On top of
stability.
And a fixed interest rate with a fixed mortgage
rate,
payment.
because most rentals are going to go up.
Every rental I have is a 3.5% annual escalation clause, which I could probably get more. Next slide.
And then on top of that, on this slide, you're going to see next year, I'm going to get 1.9% equity, and then I'm going to get another 3.5 and then another 4.25 and 4.44. So, I mean, if you take a look at this, I mean, our price, it's going to grow. You're still going to have that equity. And I know there's another slide we'll talk about.
So it's basically, if you don't buy now, you're going to pay more next year.
Yep.
One thing I found interesting about the slide that Chris covered was the fact that they're looking at a June timeframe against the December 22 timeframe. So those are two kind of different seasons in the market as well. So there's, prices are crashing during different seasons.
Yeah, it says real estate held long-term always appreciates. Right. And that's what we're selling, is this long-term appreciation. And I think we just have to keep this in mind. This is what we're doing. Oh, for sure. Yeah. If you took a long-term 30-year look at 5% a year appreciation, we're not even there yet because we lost so much value, which was a benefit.
This is just reiterating that we're getting back into more of a normal real estate market, because average appreciation is 3 to 5% every year. So if you start looking at this, we're getting back into more of a normal buyer seller type market, average 3 to 5% appreciation. But again, we live in an area where we typically fare better than the rest of the country.
Okay, let's let Otis play with this one. This is a fun one.
All right, this is percent change in home prices. So the national average is 289%. 0.1%. And then with Florida,
428%. So if you didn't invest in a home since 1991, you're basically no better off than you were in 1991. Look at some of the other states, Otis.
Well, I see, and my eyes could be deceiving me, but it looks like Georgia is 283%. And you got Texas at 332%. Hang on here. I got to blow this up a little bit. And then New York, which is a big one, is 240%. But Oregon is 511%, which is up there. Idaho is 505%. So you're looking at, since 1991, not only a population increase, but a very good investment increase if you've owned a home since 1991.
So what have the hedge funds done in the last couple of years?
They pulled their money together to buy property, real estate, in different parts of the country
Why?
because they know that
Because
it'll
of
beat
that.
Wall Street.
It's just that, right?
Yeah.
So my point of the meeting today is for you guys to get your head out of your behind and say, holy shit, we're selling some really cool stuff. That long term, if you don't listen to the media, that's impressive. I can't think of anything else is going to 428%.
No, even if you look at stocks, like, stocks, and I remember looking at the stock market, it was valued at around 10,000 and then it was up to 30,000. And I don't know where it's at right now, but when you look at that, it's fluctuating up and down between that. Like our home prices have fluctuated up and down, but if you bought a home at $100,000 and you had 428% increase, that's a $428,000 home. It didn't go back down to 100,000, but the stock market sure has. The stock market's been to 15 to 30, back to 15 to 20 to 15 to 17. So, it's a great investment.
Mhm.
And it's
Absolutely.
not good. So this blew my mind. We look at that next slide. I only got a couple more. All right. Who, if I not called on? Thomas. What does this one mean?
Good morning. So this one shows $54,296,000 potential growth in household wealth over the next 5 years, based solely on increased home equity if you purchase a $400,000 home in January 2023. So it just shows that if you're still buying, like you said, you're still going to gain that equity in your home. And within 5 years, they're talking about 54 grand plus, which is
So
huge.
let's say you decide to be a renter for the next 5 years. What did you not get?
You won't get that home equity. I mean,
You don't get the home equity gain, which we didn't even talk about the interest deductions and the property tax deductions, right? That also come in, and the homestead exemption and the property taxes and all that other stuff. So if you're not feeling like you're doing a service to the public right now by helping them sell a house or buy a house, you're missing the boat.
this in turn shows also too, which the other slides that we show them, the last one, the one before, where we talked about estimated national price performance, how it's, yes, it dipped down in 2023, but every year increased.
Yeah.
So people are out there saying, well, you know what, I shouldn't buy now. Oh yeah, come on, buy now, because you're still going to gain equity.
Actually, you
And
should
look-
buy
and
now
look-
while the prices are lower because they're going up higher next year.
And
Correct.
look, it's a normal increase per year and not an exaggerated increase that we've had over the last several years.
Correct. It's a normal
Yeah.
market.
Mhm.
John brought up a good point. If you decide to rent over the next 5 years, not only do you lose the equity, but you burn through $120,000 in rent over the next 5 years that you get nothing to own for. Pretty cool.
And those individuals that's going month to month should be very, very careful. I mean, what Ashley said is huge. They can change that at any time.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen rental contracts with clients that have an automatic 10% increase from year to year.
Mm-hmm. Very true. All right. So the top 3 conversations you need to have right now. Number 1, diligently work expired listings. It's funny. I got called by a builder the other day, and he's listed with a company, and I think it's called Happy Feet Realty. I have no comment about that, but these are new construction waterfront homes. He's got 3 out of the ground. Not one is sold. He's got 11 lots. His brother-in-law is a friend of mine. He said, call Craig and find out what's really happening. I talked to the guy and I blew his freaking mind. He had no clue. And I said, dude, you hired an agent. You didn't hire a company. I said, our CMO is going to do this, and our photographer is going to do this, and our videographer is going to do this, and our marketing people are going to do this, and all this stuff is going to happen. We're meeting on Thursday, right? And he's been on the market, in this market, with brand new inventory on the water, out of the ground, not sold. I went to MLS to try to find the property. I can't find it. So it could be something as simple as they classified something wrong in the MLS. Because I just searched 33572. Maybe they searched Apollo Beach and they put both in, right? Got another townhouse project we were working on and he decided not to go with us because I decided not to accept his commission. And not one has sold. Right? Yeah, not one. Right?
And it expired.
And it expired. So expired listings are a thing and what we do works, right? Our listing system, when you go through the process, delivers results, right? It's all about pricing. We all know that, but it's all about condition. Insurance, I got a notice yesterday from Joy. They're canceling our insurance on our office building now. Right? Insurance is a huge problem. So when you get we'll get another insurance policy, but when you get a listing, let's package it. It's marketing, right? Let's talk about what the insurance is going to be, with the flood insurance, with the hazard. Let's do a certified, Brandon's in the back of the room, certified pre-loved home inspection to say, hey, let's look at the 4-point. I had a conversation with an agent yesterday. The 4-point came back with all these problems after contract during inspection period. So what's going to happen? They're going to cancel or they're going to renegotiate. Wouldn't that be something you'd rather know up front? So let's get our 4 points. Brandon, you'll do a 4-point inspection at a pre-listing thing. And we know what's going on. We know what's happening. We know the insurance market's in crisis. So let's just do the diligent things and make it right. We're not having that many listings. If I'll show you the stats in a minute, we just don't have that many. We're just do them right. Number 2, talk with your clients about the equity they have in our homes, right? That's our little text contest, right? What are you going to do with that, dude? I talked to one of our agents yesterday. He's got a windfall coming from some property sales. And he's like, I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I think I'm going to 1031 and maybe do some of those projects in Madeira Beach. What are you going to do with the equity in your homes? Right? If it's sitting there, you have dead soldiers not deployed, and you're going to miss out on all the stuff we just showed you here. And then number 3, reach out to people who bought homes over the last 2 years because they made 30, 40, 50% on them, and let them know. And what are we calling those? Equity evaluations. And many of you have adopted that and you're doing CMAs and you're getting really good results from it. So it's super cool. I think we're almost done here. 48% of mortgage residential property. Who did I not call on the management side? I think I got everybody. I gave Julie one at the very beginning. 48% of mortgage residential properties in the United States were considered equity rich in the 4th quarter, meaning that the combined estimate amount of loan balances secured by those properties was no more than 50% of their estimated market values. That is a rich economy. Think about other countries where they don't own homes and they got no net worth. Percent change in home prices, we can skip that. 85%, Florida's up. Percent change in home prices since 30 years ago, 1991, which is 32 years ago, 428%. I mean, that's just unheard of. I thought it was really cool to share. I think it's the last slide. Cool. So purpose of that was to do what? Mindset. This is a mindset market. Do you believe you're in a good market? That's the most important thing, right, Chris? After 4 days of Tony Robbins, is your mindset important? Other people run around saying, listen to the media going, the market's coming to an end. There's a war in the Ukraine. This is the war coming to an end. This is reality of what we're dealing with. And I'll put my blinders on and I'll play that game because that's where I live. Right. And it works for me. This is what we asked you to do yesterday. Send a text message or a direct message on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you do to 20 people every day. That includes yesterday. And say something like this. Hey, I hope all is well. I need your help. Our home inventory is very low. This market is still very strong. I know you know people I don't know. So who do you know that might possibly be selling their home in the near future? Who's getting married? Who's getting divorced? Who's having kids? Who's having a job transfer? Who's retiring? I would really appreciate chatting with them to see how I can help them capitalize on this market. There's a ton of science behind those words, right? And really, if you spent the time to type it into your phone one time and then move those little arrows around and hit copy, Jackie said it took less than 30 minutes to send 20 of them. 20 A's, 20 B's, 20 C's through the Z's, so you'd be done. And we said, don't stop at that. What do you think would happen? We played the game yesterday and said, what, if one person wrote back and you did it for 5 days this week, that'd be 5 leads in your pipeline. That's a pretty good thing. Jeanette and I were just talking, she has 4 deals this month. And I said, Jeanette, do you realize 4 deals this month is tracking 48 deals this year? And 48 deals this year puts you in the top 1% of real estate people in the country. Nobody does 48 deals a year as a real estate. The average person does 4. And you got 4 in a month, right? Pretty cool. Did you do it? Oh, you can translate it to Spanish or French or whatever you like. If you speak that language, good for you. And I got a call. God. All right, next. These are just the numbers. I like to put them up there. Active listings, we're at 211. We were down from 217 last week. So that's a trend in the wrong direction, which means we're not taking enough new listings. New listings, we did take 46 so far this month, which is really in line with 27 we had last month or last week. Sales, we doubled our sales from last week, which is good. 84 up from 42 last week. Closings, we have 53 so far for $500,000, and we got 110 more for $1.5 million coming by the end of the month. So add them together, it's $2 million. Craig's happy. That works for me. So we're doing well. We were doing 300 sales a month though. So, you know, it's definitely slowed down a little bit. Coming toward the end. My inbox. We did the mastermind prescriptive. That was the text. What is it? I mean, if you didn't do the 20 texts yesterday, what reason did you have to say, fuck it, I'm not going to do it? I didn't know about it because I wasn't on the meeting. Okay, that's a good one. We should have sent a follow-up text. What's that? I didn't read well. I didn't watch the meeting. I did the text. Right. That's a pretty simple exercise to go through. And now I hope with the knowledge in your head, we're not peddling snake oil. It's a good friggin' opportunity right now, and we need to help people. And that's good. You guys will get an email if you're masters and above this week. The top agent event is on. It's in Miami. It's October 6th through the 8th. So that'll be fun at the Fontainebleau, which has been totally renovated and beautiful. And that's in October. So that's coming up. Survey Eagle. I told you I'd put it on the agenda, didn't I? It's in there. They've got a program now where they can actually re-roof your house and get paid at closing. One of the big challenges we have is the insurance companies won't insure a house if the roof is older than 10 or 15 years. So you're getting stuck, and then you got to go negotiate with a seller and a buyer to come up with the cash to put a roof on before closing. And Brandon has a roofer who will actually do it and get paid at closing, which is a huge opportunity, which I'm sure I'll talk about in a little bit.
And a shout out to Brandon. He recently did an inspection for me for one of my buyers, and he did a phenomenal job. And I was able to actually get the seller investor to agree to do all the repairs that came up out of that inspection. So thank you, Brandon.
Nice. To which I say, you should have done the inspection before you put it on the market. You wouldn't have that disappointment, and you would have sold the house for more money. But that's me. Not you. I know it wasn't your listing. I just brought our commercial house that you got non-renewal. This is real. So be prepared and start checking those things out now. Rise Network training. There was a whole email that went out yesterday. It wasn't from me, but it included a whole lot of people on it. And I guess if you're on OpCity, registered for OpCity at all, you got an email saying, hey, these are the training, and they're included. We're paying for that every month. So take them if you can. You know, it's not obligation or mandatory or anything, but you'll learn something. Single agent notice. We talked about this in the manager meeting a couple weeks ago. You guys are a single agent for the seller if you're using our .loop listing agreement, because we use a single agent with consent to transition to transaction broker listing agreement. So you are a single agent, and as a single agent, you have a duty to disclose your agency to the other side, which we haven't been doing. So we've added it to Realtor Remarks now, Sam and Chris on the listings team. are putting it in there. So you'll see a change that seller is represented by, as a single agent by listing broker. Right? So that's just disclosed now because we had to disclose that and it kind of went under the radar. But you are. Now, with a buyer, you are not a single agent unless you get a form signed and then you disclose it to the other side too and say, hey, Angela, just, you know, I represent the buyer as a single agent. You got to tell them that. You can't hide and say, hey, tell me all your secrets. Aha, stuck you. Because I'm going to keep your secret. So you can't do that. I would have the single agent notice delivered with your offer. Right? So just put it in a dot loop. Probably first meeting would be more appropriate. But good point.
Well, if you're talking with the buyer or the.
If you're a buyer's agent and you're a single agent, you probably should
It's
tell the
supposed
listing
to
agent.
It's supposed to say.
First
it
substantive.
says- Yeah, for first substantive contact with the buyer, but then when you're making an offer, you have to disclose it to the listing agent that you are representing the buyer as a single agent. You send that with your offer.
Chris and I did a whole class on this.
It's best to have it in writing. You can tell them, but then that's your
Prove it.
word against theirs. It's best to have it in writing. Just send it in an email, put it attached.
Chris and I did a whole class on agency last Wednesday. It was actually pretty good, if I say so myself. Discriminatory words. There's a whole lot of stuff going on now. And that's really stupid in my opinion, but it is what it is. One of the big things going through FAR right now, Florida Association of Realtors, is source of income. You cannot discriminate on their source of income. So if you're dealing with a rental and they want Section 8, you can't discriminate against their Section 8. You can't discriminate off their Social Security incomes paying their rent. You can't discriminate off of where their rent is coming from. If it's foreign money coming from another check, it doesn't matter. You can't do it. And apparently there's a lot of trolls out there reading the internet to see ads that are leading toward predatory or discrimination practices. Right. So the biggest one, Section 8, is this article I just pulled up here. So many bucks, but I don't need to show it to you. But so Section 8 and source of income are two big things we cannot discriminate. We shouldn't discriminate anyway, but we cannot say things like no Section 8 rentals allowed. That's you'll get flagged and get fined. So we want to watch for that.
Section 8 is government funded
assistance.
housing assistance. So the seller, and this is what I was going to ask, if you knew this, the owner of the property has to register with the local housing authority. You have to get on register with them and they have to inspect the property and there's a process to go through. So if the owner isn't willing to do that, I don't think that they can't be forced to accept the Section 8 housing voucher if they aren't willing.
Yeah,
to
but
go
we
through the
can't
process.
discriminate and say no Section 8 allowed.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Even if the owner is not willing to do the process for Section 8, you cannot advertise and tell them no Section 8 allowed.
Right.
You can't do that. You tell them the property owner, I would assume you say the
I need
property owner
clarification on
has not got the property approved through the housing authority. But again, I don't know that with 100% certainty how that would work.
I'll find out though. I'll call Danny. Did anyone watch the March 15th mastermind? You got invited to a mastermind for masters and above. And it was last Wednesday at 3:00. It's every month they do it. Maybe watch it. Take advantage of it. I mean, there's opportunities that are there. There's some pretty good peers out there. I got some new agents I want to show off real quick, some real satisfied surveys. I told you my home insurance doubled. Yours is going to double too. So just prepare for it. Chris has doubled. That's it. Let me set my surveys real fast and boom. I'm so organized. See the little yellow stars? That means I'm supposed to talk about it. Dr. Vanessa Barnes, welcome to the company. She's been on training almost every day. I'm going to test it on this one. Emperor Albuquerque, welcome to the company. I hope you're online today. I didn't see your name on the list. And then we've got that was your leadership summit. That's leadership and master top agents also there. Oh, this is the email we got. Look how many people they copied on. It was ridiculous. No, it's not showing it now. But I talked about that too. Where's my going? BE3, our Miami team. Miami's slowly getting on with their pictures and their bios and all that stuff. So we count them when they happen. So this is Veronica. Welcome to our company. And oh, these are the warning words. Section 8, Section 8, Section 8, VII. Section, Sec 8, Housing Choice Voucher Program, or HCV. Those are all the words they don't want you to use under the Tenant Bill of Rights. So big government is watching. Thomas Sutton, welcome to the company. And Ashley Eli, welcome to the company as well. She actually came to convention. It was nice to meet her. And then here, Real Satisfied. I coined a couple, I think. Only found 3, unless I don't want to go through a lot. They're very short. Sherry Keenan. And then what happens is we get a survey and a thing. So 96% satisfaction, 98% of performance. These are just great, great things. And Shelly Panis got one too, but no comments. So I guess the message today is when you ask for your survey, ask them to write something because it's easier to post and it goes to the website when you do it that way. And then the third one was, yes, I approve and a thank you. So not a lot of words today, but I've been consistent picking the top 5 to show you where they are. And it is 9:35. How's that for timing? Cool. Any comments to share? All right. My goal today was for you to feel like, holy shit, we're in a great place, and turn off the TV and just focus on the good news of things that's happening. Send your communications out to people, get some conversations back and forth, and let's rock and roll because it's going to be good. This is our spring selling season and it's going to be powerful. So happy Tuesday.
If you happen to see Jimmy McNally today, it is his birthday.
Oh, I skipped the birthdays. The birthdays I didn't cover.
Hold on, we got birth. Hold on a second.
Okay, next day, there it is. Hey, dear Jimmy, happy birthday to you. It's also Andy Madsen's birthday and Alina Jelanova's birthday from South Tampa. And tomorrow is Rosa Hernandez downstairs. So make a point for her. Ampura Albuquerque is on the 22nd. The 24th is Jennifer Jordan. Julie Powell on the 24th. Heather Dana on the 25th. And Tammy Mehigan on the 26th. So other birthdays. And then it's the end. So good. Happy Tuesday.